For some reason, I believed it was merely another afternoon unfolding before me. It was one of those days when the world wrapped itself in a gentle embrace, and tranquility reigned supreme. After a long day at work, weariness enveloped me, prompting the decision to indulge in a soothing, hot bath that promised to wash away the day's fatigue. The soothing warmth of the water enveloped me, while the gentle steam transformed the modest bathroom into a cozy sanctuary, a haven of comfort and safety. Little did I know that in mere moments, everything I knew would be flipped on its head. The silence of the house hung in the air, thick and unsettling. I could just barely discern the soft murmur of the television in the adjacent room, where my sister Timmy's mother was likely engrossed in her beloved program. For a few days now, my nephew Timmy had taken up residence with me. He often embodies a gentle spirit, a boy of few words yet filled with goodness. He was undeniably pleasant, yet there lingered an elusive quality about him that stirred a hint of unease within me, though I couldn't quite identify what it was. As I sank further into the bath, the soothing warmth enveloped me, easing the tension in my muscles. With my eyes gently shut, I released a deep, heartfelt sigh. It was a challenging week, and all I longed for was a moment to pause and escape from it all. As soon as I closed my eyes, a gentle rustling sound drifted in from next door. In the beginning, it hardly crossed my mind. I believed it could merely be the house shifting or a breeze shaking the windows. Yet, then I heard it once more, a subtle footfall that seemed to indicate someone was creeping toward the bathroom. I stood still, my senses heightened. As my heart raced in anticipation, the bathroom door was securely locked, ensuring that no one could simply stroll in. Wouldn't you agree? Suddenly, the footsteps grew louder, and then the unmistakable sound of the doorknob turning reached my ears. It caused a twist in my gut. He was present. Could it be Joey? I called his name, yet there was no response from him. In that moment, uncertainty hung in the air, a delicate tension between the choice to linger in anticipation or to boldly turn the handle and step into the unknown. The suspense was unbearable. The water, once a gentle balm, now felt constricting. As my thoughts surged like a tempest within me, was there a prankster at play, or was something far more sinister unfolding? I then heard Timmy's gentle, whispering voice calling my name. "Aunt," he murmured with such tenderness that his words barely reached my ears. A shiver coursed through me. But why did he choose to whisper? He had never resonated with such clarity before. My heart raced, and I endeavored to remain calm, despite the sudden weight of tension hanging in the air. That was the knowledge I sought. At long last, I emerged from my confines. "What is it, Timmy?" Though my voice trembled slightly. After a lengthy silence, he finally found the words to speak. "Oh, how I long for your presence." It seemed he wasn't inquiring like a child might. Instead, it took on a more urgent and almost desperate tone. As I inhaled deeply, my fingers gripped the porcelain, clinging to the edge of the tub with a sense of urgency. Were my thoughts spiraling into chaos, or had Timmy's demeanor taken a turn for the darker? Step inside. I beckoned after a brief moment of silence. As I pivoted, there he was, framed in the doorway, his petite silhouette swallowed by the brilliance of the light. With a gentle creak, the door began to part, revealing what lay beyond. I recognized him as the same beloved nephew. Yeah, there was an unsettling quality in his gaze. They were shrouded in shadows, as if he were concealing a secret within their depths. I blinked, caught in a moment of uncertainty, wondering if fatigue had clouded my mind, or if my thoughts were simply racing too fast. As he approached, an unsettling sensation crept over me, sending shivers down my spine. His face contorted, not in a playful manner, but in a way that was entirely unique and unfamiliar. Aunt Timmy whispered something softly. Just when I believed you would catch on. He inched nearer to the rim of the tub. "In the midst of your endless hustle, I find myself yearning for your presence at this very moment, his voice carried an unsettling weight, and the meaning behind his words seemed to slip through the cracks of understanding. A wave of nausea washed over me, for that boy was neither my cousin nor the familiar face I once knew. It was not merely a pastime for children. My thoughts urged me to take action, yet my body remained still. As Timmy leaned in closer, his fingers brushed against my shoulder, and his breath sent a chill across my skin, causing me to shiver. I yearned to create distance between us, yet I found myself unable to do so. He spoke in a voice that was oddly serene and unwavering. "I've been waiting so long for this. I shall not release you just yet." The atmosphere was thick with tension, making each breath feel like a struggle. What was unfolding? What could have prompted Timmy to behave in such a manner? Was he engaged in a game, or had he transformed? Staying calm was a challenge, as fear and confusion swelled within me. A shadow loomed over the scene, hinting that all was not as it should be. To escape, I needed to step out of the bathroom. Though my body urged me to rise and flee, I found myself rooted in place, unable to budge. Timmy drew closer, his face mere inches from mine. As he pressed his icy fingers firmly into my arm, he murmured it once more, his voice barely a breath. "I long to be near you." There was an unmistakable quality to his voice that sent a shiver down my spine. His words flowed like a mesmerizing melody, yet they lacked the embrace of affection or the glow of warmth. Instead, they possessed an odd tranquility that defied all logic. In that instant, it dawned on me that this was no ordinary family moment. It transcended the simple joys of childhood and the bonds of family love. This was a far more dire situation. My mind was swirling with a multitude of questions. What caused such a rapid transformation in him? What was unfolding within him? Is it possible that I overlooked something earlier that I ought to have noticed? In my quest to unravel the mysteries before me, a chilling realization crept in. I may forever remain in the dark about the true nature of it all. In a world where logic seemed to fade, Timmy's peculiar actions unfolded without rhyme or reason, leaving all who observed in a state of bewilderment. All that occupied my mind was the chilling realization that the boy I once believed I knew had vanished, leaving behind a figure that was utterly unrecognizable, as if he had been transformed into someone or something entirely foreign. Timothy's fingers wrapped around my wrist, holding on tightly, refusing to release. I grasped. His grip tightened with each passing moment, leaving me unable to escape. In the grip of fear and confusion, I found myself paralyzed, unable to heed the instincts that urged me to break free and escape the unknown that loomed before me. I softly implored, "Please," yet my voice trembled. "What tales do you have in store? What is it that you seek?" Yet he remained silent, his gaze locked onto mine, filled with an icy resolve. At that moment, it became evident that he had no intention of allowing my escape. I struggled to break free from his hold. Yet there was something in Timmy's gaze that ensnared me, as if he had woven a spell around my very being. My heart pounded fiercely, urging me to flee into the unknown. In the depths of my mind, I wrestled with thoughts, seeking a path to freedom. The atmosphere was heavy, almost suffocating, and Timmy lingered like a shadow, ever present. In a hushed tone, he leaned closer and said, "You're not going anywhere." His voice resonated with a depth that sent shivers down my spine. As his hand rested on my arm, it began to ascend gradually, as if he were gauging my reaction to this unfolding moment. A surge of emotion welled up inside me, a desperate urge to shout and shove him aside. Yet the words remained trapped, unable to escape my lips. What could possibly be his reason for this? Where has the gentle, pure-hearted Borgorn who once gazed up at me with admiration? Once upon a time, Timmy was a kind-hearted soul, gentle in spirit, and ever curious about the wonders of the world around him. Yet, at that moment, It felt as if an unseen force had seized control of him. As the bathroom door let out a familiar squeak, I spun around, anticipation coursing through me, eager to catch a glimpse of my sister. Yet, the hallway lay empty, a quiet stillness enveloping the space. In the distance, faint footsteps echoed, but they felt like whispers, too far away to bring any comfort. Alas, we found ourselves as the last remnants of a once vibrant gathering. I realized the urgency of the moment and felt the need to act swiftly. I made another attempt to push Timmy's hand away, but he proved to be stronger than I had anticipated. His grip tightened, sending a wave of panic coursing through me. The soothing embrace of the warm water once lifted my spirits, but now it felt as though I was being drawn down into its depths. Timmy leaned in even more, and his cold breath brushed against my neck. He spoke in a hushed, unsettling tone, declaring, "You're mine now. And you always have been." I've been anticipating your realization of his words. It sent the chill down my spine, looming above me like a dense, oppressive shadow. It had transformed into something far greater than a mere child's pastime. It was a shadowy realm, filled with peril and intrigue. With a sharp intake of breath, my thoughts surged like a river, brimming with possibilities. He held no sway over me. I found myself in a battle within. Yet, what was unfolding within him? As I gazed upon his face, I searched for a trace of the nephew I once cherished. The boy who laughed, played, and eagerly awaited bedtime tales. Yet, all that met my eyes was the visage of a distant, calculating stranger. My mind wandered to the small shampoo bottle perched on the edge of the tub. In a moment of impulse, I seized it and hurled it toward Timmy. It struck him squarely in the chest, momentarily stealing his focus away. In that fleeting moment, I broke free from his grasp and emerged from the tub. Yet the water churned violently, and my legs felt like jelly. "Don't run away from me," Timmy declared, his voice laced with frustration. As he advanced, his eyes gleaming with a fierce, newfound brilliance, I recalled, gripped by an overwhelming fear. He had moved beyond mere attempts to instill fear in me. He sought to inflict pain upon me. My mind was a whirlwind as I sought an escape. I found myself trapped, unable to linger in the bathroom. Yet the thought of darting into the rest of the house felt equally perilous. What if he pursued me? What if I lacked the strength to halt his advance? Fear enveloped me as I clutched a towel, wrapping it tightly around myself in a desperate attempt to find solace. Yet it offered no comfort at all. With unwavering resolve, Timmy advanced another step closer to me. In his gaze, fear was absent, replaced instead by a chilling, unyielding composure. I pleaded softly, my voice trembling with emotion. "This is not you. I can't quite fathom what has taken hold of you." Timmy remained silent when I pleaded for him to cease. As he reached out once more, his grip on my arm was so fierce that I feared he might shatter it before I had the chance to escape. In that instant, the overwhelming dread enveloped me, a force too powerful to bear. It felt as though my words vanished into the air, unheard and unacknowledged. It was as if the boy I once knew had vanished, leaving behind a shadowy and perilous presence in his stead. Then a vivid recollection surfaced within me. It was a whisper, distant and elusive, yet it felt as though it contained the essence of comprehension for the unfolding events. As I reflected on the peculiar way Timmy had been behaving a few weeks back, I recalled the odd dreams he mentioned, his unusual actions, and the shift in his demeanor. At the time, it seemed like a fleeting topic, brushed aside by everyone around him. At last, everything falls into place. He hadn't merely experienced a fleeting moment. Something peculiar had unfolded within him. It was time for me to go. I must navigate this journey. I strained to catch my sister's words drifting through the door, but they were just out of reach, leaving me powerless to assist. Only Timmy and I stood in the midst of this battle. I found my strength in the shadows of my fears. I was compelled to battle, regardless of the circumstances. With every ounce of strength within me, I wrenched my arm away from Timmy's hold. As I shoved him away, a fleeting hope of liberation danced in my mind. In that moment, he leapt ahead with a swiftness that took me by surprise. His hand encircled my wrist, drawing me back toward him with a strength that seemed almost otherworldly. With determination, I seized the shampoo bottle once more. Wielding it like a weapon, I struck it against his face, hoping to disorient him just enough to make my escape. He faltered, a flicker of confusion crossing his face, but soon his gaze sharpened, igniting with an even more chilling resolve. "What compels you to stand your ground?" Timmy inquired. His voice carried a peculiar serenity, as if he were imparting a reprimand with a gentle touch. "You belong to me. My heart has always belonged to you." His grip on me softened ever so slightly, and the first seized that fleeting opportunity. I leapt from the tub, enveloping myself in a towel, paying no heed to the chill that surrounded me. My legs trembled, yet a surge of adrenaline coursed through my veins. My heart raced wildly as I dashed toward the bathroom door. Alone he must remain, for the tale had taken a turn that required solitude. The weight of what had consumed Timmy was far too great for me to bear alone. As I flung the door wide, there stood my sister, drawn in by the clamor that filled the air. Her eyes were wide with fear, yet the moment left no room for words of reassurance. Time slipped away, leaving no room for words to be spoken. "Jack," I called out, but he had vanished by the time I spun around. It appeared as though nothing had transpired, for the bathroom stood vacant and still. My sister hurried to my side, but words failed me as I struggled to convey the whirlwind of emotions and visions that had just unfolded. It was a chaos that defied explanation. The adorable little Timmy, once filled with joy and laughter in his play, had vanished into the ether. He had transformed into something dark, while my sister endeavored to lift my spirits. I caught a fleeting sight of Timmy observing from the hallway. In the shadowy glow, his deep-set eyes glimmered, and an unsettling sensation washed over me, as if he were lurking just beyond my sight. Uncertainty loomed over the horizon, yet one truth stood unwavering. The tale was far from its conclusion. As the days unfolded, the peculiarities deepened, weaving an even more intricate tapestry of oddities. Though the house carried an air of change and Timmy's actions grew increasingly erratic, the others remained blissfully unaware. My sister dismissed my concerns as craziness or overthinking when I attempted to share what had transpired, despite my genuine worrying. Yet, deep within my soul, I sensed that Timmy had transcended the bounds of ordinary childhood. From that moment on, a lingering unease settled within me, for I understood that the shadows consuming Timmy were not something that could be extinguished with mere light. I had a feeling that in due time, others would come to recognize the truth. Yet, by that moment, it could very well be too late. If you wish to uncover the next chapter of this tale, kindly like, share, and subscribe to my channel. The tale is far from finished. The journey is far from over.